So, Ralph, have you ever watched that show where that lady goes in and you got to find what gives you joy, and if it doesn't give you joy, you got to throw it out? Have you seen that show?
Tidying up with Marie Kondo.
Okay, have you watched it?
I have.
Okay, what is the thing in the room right now that gives you joy?
My Astro C40 controller that I got for
isn't
free
that
from
nice?
Astro. Isn't that a great plug?
That's nice.
This isn't even a sponsored episode. Why are we doing this, Sam?
It's not even a sponsored episode. Because this gives me joy, everybody. Okay, see this boy right here? Look at this sexy boy. Okay, little did he know that he'd become an absolute stud when he, when he grew up. There we go, when he grew up. And
Nice.
That's the end of that segment, everybody. Now, let's talk about something that has grown up. Let's do that again.
Keep that in.
I'm so tired. Okay, grown up and sadly isn't showing up this year, okay? E3. Right, well, this is the best opening ever. E3, this is what we're talking about today.
We have a lot of news today. E3 is cancelled again somehow, which is kind of unexpected, but don't worry, guys. IGN is stepping up to fill the void, which is going to be interesting. There's also some stuff about Microsoft's future plans for the way they're going to be hosting their online events, particularly as it relates to the launch of the Xbox Series X. And we've also got some news about Resident Evil 8, which was kind of leaked today, and it sounds pretty juicy. Anyway, let's get to the drop, and we'll talk about the news. So guys, it's April at the moment, which means this is the time that Sam and I would actually be planning out our E3 trip. We'd be like, where can we go? Are we still on Bethesda's blacklist? How do we sneak into the EA event? All these things, you know. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen this year because E3 is canned.
Yeah. Which one is it?
If only
maybe
EA
they're
was
both
canned.
cancelled. Maybe they're both cancelled. But it is like the most exciting time. And like from now, we get ready to like, how are we going to get there? What kind of jokes are we going to do? And if we're meeting up with Yong, like that's the biggest thing. Like, are we seeing our big daddy Yong? Okay. And this year we're sadly not seeing Big Daddy Yong. And we're also going to see some other people this year. It was going to be quite the crowd, but we're not actually doing it this year. But it is the most exciting time for us. And it's the most exciting time for like everybody. So to hear that it was cancelled, it does suck. But some people thought, you know what? Don't worry. They're going to do an electronic event. It's going to be digital, baby. And it's going to be so good. And they have delivered the digital event, haven't they, Ralph?
Totally. They delivered it via a tweet that said, we're not doing the digital event. So the ESA, the scumbag ESA organization that runs E3, absolute garbage tier organization, worst of the worst. Very vocal advocates for loot boxes, by the way. They really believe that loot boxes are an important part of the video game industry, and they'll go to the mat for those, right?
It's
these guys,
ultimately.
it's very pro-consumer. When they cancelled E3 because of COVID, which is absolutely the right call, by the way, they then said that they would be hosting a digital event to sort of replace E3. Turns out that's not the case. The news came via PC Gamer, who got a statement from the ESA this week, and all they said was that given the disruption brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic, we will not be presenting an online E3 2020 event in June. Instead, we'll be working with exhibitors to promote and showcase individual company announcements, including on e3expo.com, because that's a big website that everyone loves to go to. Huge amounts of traffic on that.
I go there all the time, right? That's the go-to place.
It's my bookmark, you know. We look forward to bringing our industry...
Among other bookmarks...
We look forward to bringing our industry and community together in 2021 to present a reimagined E3 that will highlight new offerings and thrill our audiences. Okay, so the ESA said they would do an E3 event, and now there is no E3 event at all. E3 is somehow cancelled twice this year, right? ESA is such an incredible organization. They found a way to cancel E3 twice in 1 year. Well done, guys. Well done.
I mean, look, it is an achievement. It really is. It's not an easy thing to do. It really isn't. But look, let's be real. ESA, we've seen now, they're always back in the companies and they only care about the dosh. Okay, that's why I genuinely think that they did not open up the doors to E3 because they wanted to give, the consumer the experiences. It's because they could sell another 15,000 tickets and they were like, hey, you know what? Let's do it again. And they were planning to sell 25,000 tickets after so much backlash about how much of a ridiculous, this petri dish the E3 floor became, right? I really feel it's about money. And I feel like they've cancelled this because they're like, you know what? We can't make as much money doing a digital event. Screw it. But it looks like someone else may have actually stepped up to the plate, Ralph. Is this the time for the segue?
This is the time for the segue, Sam. Do it. Hit it hard.
Okay. Now, IGN, baby, okay? We love IGN, okay? I feel like sometimes they always give solid reviews, okay? It could there could be too much water in Pokemon. Or there could be all sorts of things.
Makes you feel like Batman.
Makes you feel like Batman, everybody. But one thing that they're doing the Lord's work today, everybody. Now, they've just announced that they are going to be doing a digital event in the ballpark of the same time frame of E3. They've already got some big key publishers, big key players to be a part of this digital event, such as IGN will be collaborating with the likes of 2K, Square Enix, and Sega, and more to bring you publishing presentations with IGN pre- and post-discussions, remote developer interviews, hands-on demos and preview impressions, gameplay and news segments, recapping the biggest announcements. Well, I wonder if there is going to be gigantic announcements. That's the first thing. So it sounds like they're really like creating this event for a place to hear the big announcements. Is there going to be bigger announcements apart from just these big publishers that are jumping on board? I genuinely wonder.
I do wonder about that as well, because I think a lot of games that were planning on revealing at E3 this year and being released this year will not do that, and they will push to next year. I think it's very likely that we'll see some very big games kept under wraps so they can, obviously shoot for a next year release when things are back on track. 2020 seems like a write-off at this point. It really feels like 2021 is when things are going to happen again. So it's possible, first of all, we're going to see less announcements. We will see some announcements though, obviously. One of the big ones has to be around Microsoft. They are going to be hosting their own event in June. Their own kind of like mini E3 specific to Xbox. That's going to be full of reveals. But this IGN stuff is separate from all of that. And we can be almost certain that there's going to be at least some juicy news there. It's a really interesting play for IGN as well to step up and host this kind of event. And if they can pull it off, it really challenges the value of E3, because it's going to be a lot cheaper for these companies to participate in it. And they're going to get the same number of clicks out of it, I think. So if IGN can land this, it's going to be quite a coup for them, you know what I mean?
I definitely think it'll set a massive precedent. If this is a huge success, this could definitely pave the way for IGN to be part of more of the announcement space. It could be definitely part of the more, celebrating games space, which, E3 kind of also is, of course. But I think the only conflict there is like if one moment they're reviewing games and like giving them, a bad review is like 7 out of 10 for IGN, so that's probably not going to be an issue really, But I don't think that the point I was going to make then is maybe it's going to be an issue for them to review games, give them bad scores at the same time, give them a platform to be announcing things, and then it's still going to be on the chopping block for them to review them and criticize them.
That's true. As we mentioned though, Microsoft is going to be doing their own event in June, sort of showcasing the Xbox Series X release. We're definitely going to see some Halo Infinite news there as well. But they also did provide some an update upon their broader strategy when it comes to events. This is Microsoft as a whole, not just Xbox. And they've said it's official, all Microsoft conferences will be digital only through to July 2021. It's a long time away. And they said, in light of the challenges presented by COVID-19, Microsoft has been closely monitoring the developing global situation and reassessing the overall company-wide in-person event strategy. As a company, Microsoft has made the decision to transition all external and internal events to a digital-first experience through July 2021. This will include the future MVP and R&D Summit, which is currently scheduled for March 28th, 2021. We will continue to evaluate the situation and look forward to connecting in person as the situation allows for it. So, to be super clear, they can still attend trade shows because they did offer a clarification later on. So, Gamescom, for example, if it goes ahead, they will they may attend that depending on the circumstances. But any Microsoft event that they host, such as XO19, which we attended last year in London, that's not going to happen, basically. They've cancelled all those events and they're going to be digital only.
This also means that they could attend E3 for 2021, but it's not really confirmed yet. But this happens when Bill Gates officially stands down completely. He has officially standed down recently, and when he's not there, guys, they're not making the key decisions without him now. But all jokes aside, it is going to be interesting if the pandemic does end in the next 6 months. I wonder if they're going to stick to their guns. I wonder if they're going to say that the digital event is not giving them the same bang for buck in terms of getting a lot of influencers there, getting a lot of people playing their games, and then all these influencers going home and literally generating hundreds of millions of views for a single event.
Last story of the day, guys. Resident Evil 8 details have leaked. It's actually, apparently it's going to be called Resident Evil Village. And if you look at the little logo on screen here, you can see the
That's
8.
weird.
No, it's like, it's like a V and then the 3 eyes, and they spell out village when you do it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's very clever.
Yeah, I just saw that
Very
then.
clever. And look, basically there are a whole bunch of details in this with regards to, but they're all leaks, as in you can't trust them. They're talking about that it's going to be sort of having the Resident Evil 4 inventory system. They talk about the fact that it's going to radically shake up the franchise. They talk about a redesigned Chris. They talk about one of the major enemies that you'll be fighting is kind of like this witch. They say it's a bit more sort of supernatural as well, as opposed to just straight up T-virus zombies. It's kind of got more of a supernatural flair to it. It is going to be in first person perspective, and it is out next year. So that's that. I feel like
that's good news.
I'm excited for this. I'm looking forward to this. As much as I didn't really enjoy Resident Evil 3 Remake, I loved Resident Evil 2, and I generally enjoy the Resident Evil series quite a bit. So yeah, I'm definitely keen.
I think, look, Resident Evil 3, it's generated some hype. We'll definitely say that. It's generated some hype, okay? So there's definitely a great time to show some teasers, to drop some leaks, It could have definitely been manufactured. You never know. They're like, oops, this got out. Oops, my bad.
Yeah, true.
From what I know, I did not play Resident Evil 7. From what I know, people loved the first person, and it landed quite well. Especially Thick Boy, he loved Resident Evil 7. So look, you know what? I'm excited for it. It is good news to see, and it is good to see in this whole situation. We are still seeing, games being announced and games being kind of the actual
it's not even announced,
release
by the way.
date is.
It's not announced.
Oh, isn't it announced?
It's all leaked.
Well, I mean, at least it's all leaked. That's what I'm trying to say here, right? I'm really backtracking now, people.
Head up, back straight. That's a great back pedal.
At least we're seeing games that are being leaked, okay?
That's right,
At least we're
exactly.
seeing leaked games. We know we're really in trouble when there is no leaked games whatsoever, everybody. But that's pretty much it really today, isn't there?
That's the news. We've got other stuff coming up tomorrow. Some juicy news in relation to CD Projekt Red, maybe. We'll keep you updated. Laymen.
Anything for the click. Laymen out.
Laymen out.